Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm so glad that you're here for this conversation because this month we're exploring something that can feel really uncomfortable, but is actually one of the most powerful parts of our growth. And it's called fear and resistance. I'm sure we can all relate to that, right? And we're going to be talking about what it really means to meet your shadows. In human design, I talk a lot about shadows. And this is going to kind of break that down a little because here's the truth. Fear isn't the problem. Resistance isn't the problem. Those are signals. And in human design, they're often signposts that point us back to our own alignment. So when we talk about shadows, we're not talking about something that's dark or something that's wrong. We're talking about the parts of ourselves that we've learned to hide, the patterns that we don't fully understand, the reactions that feel automatic, and the fears that keep repeating in our lives. Your shadow is not something to fix, it's something to understand. Because your shadow is often just your energy misinterpreted through conditioning. In human design, we're given a map, and that map shows us where we're consistent, where we're open and easily influenced, where we can be easily conditioned, and where we're meant to trust ourselves. Fear and resistance often show up when we're moving against our design, when we're making decisions from our mind, and when we're losing or when we're trying to control what isn't ours to control. So instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You should begin to ask, what is this showing me about how I'm using my energy? This is one of the most important pieces. In human design, each type has a not self theme. Generators are going to experience that not self theme as frustration. Projectors will experience it as bitterness. Manifestors will experience it as anger, and reflectors are going to experience it as disappointment. These are not bad feelings, they're feedback. They're your system saying you're out of alignment right now. This is shadow work in real time. So instead of avoiding these feelings, we need to meet them. Ask, where am I forcing something? Where am I not being recognized? Where am I trying to control the outcome? And where am I ignoring my own truth? Your not self theme is not something to escape, it's something to listen to. And this is where shadow work becomes very real. Your open centers, which are the ones that are white, are where you are most sensitive to conditioning. And often that's where your fears live. In an open head or ajna, which is the top two uh, elements of the body graph, you can see them. Oh, hold on, let me unblur my screen here. Okay, here we go. The top two here, the top one here is your head, and the second one down is your ajna. If those are open, so if those are white, you may feel fear of not knowing, fear of uncertainty, and pressure to figure things out. So the shadow sounds like, I need to understand this before I can make a move. The open G center, which is this white one this yellow one that's in the middle, if yours is white, that's the fear of not being lovable, the fear of not having direction. And it sounds like, who am I? Who am I really underneath everything? The open will center, which is this little one, it's just white for me. That's the little one between the G center and the emotional solar plexus. That's the fear of not being enough or the fear of failure. And so shadow there sounds like I have to prove myself. And this is a very common one to have open. So if you feel the need to prove yourself in any way, shape, or form, check your chart and see if that's open. The emotional solar center, the emotional solar plexus center. Mine is defined, so mine is brown on the right-hand side of my chart. And that is fear of conflict, fear of overwhelming emotions to the point where maybe you're going to avoid emotional situations. And it sounds like, I don't want to feel this. This hurts too much. If you have an open root center, which was the square at the very bottom, mine is defined, so it's brown. If yours is white, that's the fear of feeling pressure or falling behind. And so shadow sounds like, I need to hurry. These fears are not random. They are amplified places where your system is asking you to pay attention. Let's talk about resistance. Resistance is often misunderstood. Resistance is not laziness. It's not failure. It's protection. Your nervous system is trying to keep you safe. That's his job. So when something feels scary, pause and ask yourself, am I really in danger or am I just uncomfortable? Because growth often feels like discomfort. And your body may interpret new as unsafe simply because it doesn't know what to expect. This is where everything comes together. Human design doesn't remove fear, it gives you a way to move with it. Your strategy, which every type has a strategy, your strategy creates safety. That safety can look like waiting instead of rushing, informing instead of controlling, or responding instead of forcing. And as I said, that kind of depends, or that does depend on your energy type. Your authority creates clarity. Emotional authority, you need to wait for the wave. Sacral authority, you need to listen to the gut. And splenic authority, you need to trust your inner instant knowing. And when you follow your strategy and your authority, you don't eliminate fear. You stop letting it lead. Meeting your shadow looks like noticing, practicing awareness, but not judging what comes up for you. Feeling without reacting, questioning instead of assuming, and staying present instead of avoiding. It sounds like this is coming up for a reason. I don't need to fix this right now. I can be with this. That's where transformation happens, not in pushing it away, but in being willing to see it, being willing to sit through that discomfort and practice awareness with how you feel. Your body talks to you all the time. You just need to know how to listen to it. Fear isn't here to stop you. Resistance isn't here to block you. Your shadows aren't here to hold you back. They're here to guide you, to show you where you've been conditioned, where maybe you've been protecting yourself, and where you're being invited to grow. So I ask you to pay attention to where fear is showing up for you. What might that fear be trying to teach you? Is it misalignment or is it expansion? Because the moment that you stop running from your shadow, you begin to understand yourself. And that's where real alignment begins. You don't need to become someone new. You just need to understand the parts of you that have been waiting to be seen.